Japan, often referred to as the land of the rising sun, is a popular tourist destination due to its fascinating history and culture. The old Japanese culture has been known to humanity for thousands of years, and visitors to castles and shrines may learn a lot about it. If you're traveling to Japan, you should know that there are currently 98 airports in the country, 28 of which are managed by national government and 67 by local authorities. Japan is known for its engineering as much as it is for adorable, quirky and tasty things. They simply constructed the airports on top of Japan's most vulnerable national resource, the sea that surrounds it on all sides. That is, they constructed artificial islands for them. Join us today as we're going to take a look into how Japan built this mesmerizing floating airport. Are you ready? Before moving on, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. In the mid-1980s, Osaka's Itami Airport became woefully inadequate for the needs of Japan's Kansai region. The Kansai area includes not just Osaka, Japan's second-largest city and a key economic hub, but also Kyoto and Kobe. The old airport was encircled by urban development in more ways than one. Because aircraft noise in the late hours of the night would upset the sleep of people living near the airport, urban growth not only barred any further enlargement, but it also limited the hours of operation. Kansai exporters were compelled to carry their air freight to Tokyo for export due to the restrictions on the old airport. This impediment was most likely limiting their supplies. The airport officials explored locating a new airport location. Since there are no islands in Osaka Bay that require an airport, one would have to be built. It might be costly, but it is not impossible. However, a variety of factors must be considered. Severe earthquakes are prevalent in the Kansai region, and earthquakes can liquefy the sort of landfill used to construct such an island. Typhoons pose a hazard to Japan as well. An island airport would also need to be built high enough to withstand heavy stormwater surges. And what about fishermen? When actual project development on the island airport began, officials averted a potential outcry by Osaka Bay fishermen whose livelihoods would be jeopardized by the construction. The aviation administration promised the fishermen a large sum of money, which they accepted. The airport's designers envisioned a 2.5-mile-long, 4,000-foot-wide runway. The area was chosen because it was 3 miles from the coast and had a sea depth of 60 feet. The water depth, however, was not the major stumbling issue. The problem was the condition of the soil under the water. Alluvial clay was discovered in the soil beneath the river. This clay reached a depth of 100 meters. Japanese engineers have solved the challenge of building on the soil. They would drive down pipes that were then filled with sand. The pipes would then be pulled up, leaving sand columns in place to absorb moisture from the alluvial clay. The level of clay underlying the alluvial clay caused the structure to be uncertain. This clay was known as dialluvial clay, and it could be found at a depth of around 1,000 feet. Its compressibility was unknown, and because of its depth, nothing could be done to modify it. After nearly 7 years of development, Kansai International Airport opened in 1994. It has grown into a significant Asian transportation hub, with over 20 million people passing through it last year. The airport was built to relieve travelers who had previously been forced to fly via Kyoto's airport, which is located 40 miles outside of the capital and has separate facilities for international and domestic flights, adding to travelers' frustrations. The Kansai Airport, which serves Osaka and its two neighbors, Kobe and Kyoto, mixes both types of flights. However, few would call it a success tale. The airport's construction cost twice as much as expected, and it has yet to turn a profit. In fiscal 1999, it lost $1.4 billion. The construction of the 1,275-acre island in the earthquake-prone location posed unique technological hurdles. A quake destroyed Kobe and some sections of Osaka the year after it opened. The airport, much to the amazement of many, escaped the quake with very little damage. Officials recognized sinkage would be a long-term issue because the airport is built on rather soft land. Risk of sinking. The airport officials contacted a range of professionals to assess how much the airport island would sink because of its weight. The number was estimated to be between 19 and 25 feet. When the officials got the numbers, they did what looks to be the worst thing they could have done. They accepted the smallest projection, 19 feet, in what appears to be wishful thinking. The airport's design was based on a 19-foot sinking at the time. The building's construction began in 1987. To stabilize the alluvial clay, sand columns were employed. The island's perimeter was defined by 69 steel chambers, excavated into the water bottom. These chambers were 75 feet tall and 75 feet in circumference. Each of them weighed 200 tons. To cover the spaces between the chambers, 48,000 finely shaped concrete blocks were utilized. The walls were decorated with 1 to 2 ton irregular stones. To minimize the possibility of liquefaction of the earthfill during an earthquake, the area within the walls was filled with rocks and coarse gravel. The sheer volume of the fill material was in the form of 2 mountains that were leveled throughout the project. Connecting the island airport to the mainland was essential. That section of the project began in 1987, and the $1 billion bridge connection was completed in March 1990. The lower level of the trussed bridge carried a railway, while the upper level held a highway for motor vehicles. The project currently employs 10,000 people. The issue, however, was that the island was sinking more rapidly than the design predicted. The maximum elevation was calculated to be 25 feet. Remember, the airport's officials utilized a minimum estimate of 19 feet. By the end of 1990, the island had sunk to a depth of 27 feet and was continuing to sink at a speed of around 1 foot per year. At a cost of $150 million, the authorities poured an additional 11.5 feet of fill. Right now, Kansai is undergoing a great renovation in order to expand its Terminal 1. The renovation project will increase international flight capacity while also improving the passenger experience. The restoration of Terminal 1 was supposed to start in December 2020, however it was postponed because of COVID-19 limitations. By the end of May 2021, full-scale development was scheduled to commence. The renovation project is the largest in the region in the past 50 years. The airport's primary functions are scheduled to be operational in time for the Osaka Kansai Expo, a 6-month international exhibition set to take place in Osaka in 2025. The extension will boost the airport's capacity to 40 million international passengers per year, a 36% increase over 2018. It will also help Japan's economic growth. Regardless of what the future has in store for this incredible airport, it will always be a monument to a very bold vision. A vision that dared to attempt something that no one else had before. A concept that actually shifted mountains, constructed land in the middle of the sea, and created for Japan what is now expected to become one of the most beautiful airports in the world. That's all. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more fascinating videos we've made, click on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!